Hello and welcome to CNBC TV 18. This is our special coverage of the Phase 5 of the Lok Sabha elections. I'm Archana Solanki. In the fifth and final phase of voting in Maharashtra, the city of Mumbai is going to polls today. All 6 seats in the city are voting for as many as 116 candidates. But the fight is expected to boil down to a duel between the Mahayuti alliance consisting of the Eknath Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena and the BJP versus the Maha Vikas Aghadi, which consists of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena, the Congress and the Sharad Pawar-led NCP. Some of the early bird voters include Anil Ambani, Tata Sons chairman N. Chandra and Union Minister Piyush Goyal, who's also contesting from Mumbai North. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das were also spotted casting their vote in the city this morning. As far as the voter turnout is concerned, the Mumbai South constituency had a turnout of under 6%, while about 6% of the voters in the Mumbai North Central, Northeast and Northwest seats had cast their votes by 9 a.m., while the Mumbai South Central constituency had a turnout of nearly 8%. And we're talking about the voter turnout because, as we have been mentioning, that it is usually lower than the national average. Let's also connect with our colleague Mayuresh Ganpati, who's joining from Pedder Road. Mayuresh, Mumbai South, this time is a keenly watched contest between two Shiv Sena factions, Arvind Sawant, and of course, we're talking about a very, very close Shinde versus Sena fight. Tell us more about this fight and what is all at stake for the constituency this time around.
Right now I'm in South Mumbai constituency, and if we talk about this particular constituency, there is a straight fight between Shiv Sena versus Shiv Sena UBT. This is we can say, first this was a traditional constituency for the Congress till Milind Deora lost his election in 2014. But after that we have seen the Shiv Sena has somewhere established their supremacy over this particular constituency, where Arvind Sawant had won 2 Lok Sabha elections. But now after the split in the party, this is the first ever election that both the factions of Shiv Sena are facing, or this is a major election, we can say that. If we see the historical data of the South Mumbai constituency, the candidate who has won from this particular constituency, and if his or her party established the government in the center, then that particular candidate has always got the cabinet berth, whether it's Murli Deora, then Milind Deora, Jayantiben Mehta, and last was Arvind Sawant, who was also a cabinet minister in Modi government, the first Modi government. If we talk about the issues over here, yes, this particular constituency, you have a high-rises. Then in the lower south, you have the chawls, the old dilapidated buildings, and towards the Bindi Bazaar, if you have the same issue. So the redevelopment of old buildings is the main issue in this particular constituency. If we talk about the metro, yes, the Mumbai Metro 3 line, which is the underground line, it also goes through from this particular area. The work is in full swing, but yet the new deadlines every year the metro is giving. So that is also another area of concern for South Mumbai. So transportation, the issue of dilapidated buildings, these are the key issues for this particular region. And both the candidates, Yamini Jadhav as well as Arvind Sawant, both have promised that once they elected from this constituency, with the help of centre, they will try to resolve these 2 issues as early as possible and as soon as possible. Back to you, Archana.
Interesting contest there between Yamini Jadhav and Arvind Sawant. It's often said in politics that it's quite unpredictable, because there was a time when Yamini Jadhav used to seek votes in the name of Arvind Sawant. Moving on, markets expect continuity at the centre and in policy making, says veteran investor Ramesh Damani. He spoke to my colleague Mangalam Malu earlier today after casting his vote and said that power and renewable energy are good themes for the next 5 years.
And as I think Abraham Lincoln said about democracy, it's of the people, by the people, for the people. Today it's the chance to buy the people, and it's actually a majestic exercise. Every time I come in, there are 90 crore people who are eligible to vote, and we peacefully elect and transfer power. I think it's an extraordinary achievement for our democracy.
Indeed, it is an extraordinary achievement for democracy and the way our economy has been growing. You know, for the time that you've been voting, can you tell us that what's the kind of impact that these occasions have on the economy for the next 5 years? There's policy, there's continuity of policy, all of those factors.
I think market typically likes continuity of policy, and clearly they're voting this time for continuity of policy. But I have to tell you, people always ask me what are the best time to invest in India, and I always tell them 1991 when Manmohan Singh stepped up to the parliament and gave his benchmark liberalization speech was the single best time to invest in India. The second best time to do it is tomorrow. I think the markets are fine, and 30 years have proved that we've had compounded returns in the Sensex, and there's no reason to believe the next 5 years will be different, especially if we get a continuation of economic policies.
Near-term volatility aside, what would be your key expectations from the government, the elected government?
Well, I think the agenda is full, as the Prime Minister has often said that he has a 100-day agenda and agenda up to, in fact, 2047, where he wants India to become a major global power, economically speaking. So the agenda is there. It's not very well known, but there's some fractious issues that will come up to the Parliament. For example, what does he do about the delimitation exercise? Does the South gain more seats, the North gain more seats? That will be there. The budget will come out in a few months after the election. That will be a huge mega event. I think what I understand, the Prime Minister wants to continue focus on his infrastructure, his Jal for Nal, his gas for everyone, those kind of policies. And I think there will be some changes to the direct taxes to make it much more easier for people to file taxes.
So from a stock market standpoint, from an investment standpoint, what would you think would be the best themes to play this election and thereafter all the policies that you're speaking about?
Well, if there's continuity of government, we can't say what a new government's policy would be. But if there's continuity of government, I think one thing that the market is just kind of waking up to is the fact that the incredible job the Prime Minister's office and the Prime Minister have done on the public sector units. These stocks have gone from leaders, from laggards to leaders, and from dust to diamonds, if you will. There's enormous value extraction. I don't think we give enough credit to the government for the kind of policies that they've bought by the reduction of telephone banking, leakage of corruption. Saw the PE and the market valuation of these companies soar tremendously. So I think there'll be more action, particularly on those regard. And the infrastructure company, basic housing, water, power, renewable energy, electricity will all receive the government's attention. So I think those are good themes to look forward to for the next 5 years.
Despite the run-up, you think there is still more juice?
I think so. Typically we find that in a bull market, the pendulum swings from unloved to overloved. I think we're somewhere in between right now. So I'm hopeful for those sectors.
Right. Any risks that one should be careful about, and how do you protect your portfolio from any sort of accident, so to say?
Well, you can't do that. You have to sometimes take the tide. I think some sophisticated investors do options and futures hedging. I don't typically do that. Volatility is what will happen, and that you can deal with. Now, June 4th, when the results are opened up, we'll have to decide which new government is coming in, and based on that, the market will reassess it. Market is now expecting continuity of government, and if that happens, the market will continue on. In fact, the Prime Minister has gone on record as saying that he expects a bonanza day on June 4th. So you guys be ready. But if there's change in government, there will be extreme volatility.
Another market veteran who's confident of the NDA returning to power is Alchemy Capital's Hiren Ved. He says there is a need for the investment environment to get better in India. Take a look.
No, I think the market's been very confident about, at least the base case, what the market is thinking is that the same NDA government will come back. The question is only how many seats, right? But to me, that doesn't really matter, frankly. I think as long as they come back, I think they will continue with their policies with the same ferocity that they've done in the past. So I don't see any anti-incumbency. There may be a few small regions here and there where there may be local issues which could impact. But I think by and large, my sense is people are happy with the kind of work that has happened by this government, whether it be, social security and the effectively using the digital medium to see that the benefits are flowing directly to the beneficiaries. And the kind of work that has happened in infrastructure, in encouraging manufacturing in this country. I think those things will continue for sure.
Come June 4th, once the new government, whether it's continuity or it's a new government, comes into place, what are some of the top priorities from a market point of view, that you're looking at that should should be top priorities in terms of policy reforms, be it infrastructure, be it foreign investments? What is the market looking at?
So I think, whichever government comes in, and though I believe very strongly that this government will continue, I think we have, in India, we are at a very interesting crossroads, right? We have everything, for us, right? Never have been a case where everything has fallen into place.
Correct.
So this is the time where we need to capitalize and find our place in the world, right? We will be the fastest growing economy. I think we need to attract a lot of foreign capital. We need to continue to make a better environment for investments. We need to encourage manufacturing.
Nilesh Shah, the MD of Kotak Mahindra Asset Management, who came out to exercise his ballot in Juhu, spoke to CNBC TV 18's Shilpa Ranipeta, and he thinks that the Indian market is trading at maximum premium to other peers.
You are at Mount Everest in terms of valuation. When you are discounting everything positively, there is bound to be some jitters. Now, is it related to election? Is it related to something else? Who knows?
Okay.
But we are one of the few market which is still 1 or 2% below all-time high and which is trading at maximum premium to other peers. So I think we are in good state.
Right, let us now go to my colleague Sandhya Gora, who's joining us from Prabha Devi. She's getting a quick roundup on all the key constituencies to track in Maharashtra, the important candidates in the electoral fray in Mumbai. Sandhya, over to you.
So polling is underway on 13 seats in Maharashtra. Out of these 13, 6 seats are in the capital city, Mumbai. Other than Mumbai, seats are Bhiwandi, Kalyan, Thane, Palghar, Dhule, Nashik and Dindori. Polling is underway in all these seats. Talking about the election issues for Mumbai metropolitan region, that is the city of Mumbai and the nearby region, key election issues are infrastructural development, better quality of roads, better quality of public transportation, relief from traffic congestion, water crisis, redevelopment of old structures and slum rehabilitation and redevelopment. These are some of the key election issues for people residing in Mumbai and in the nearby region. For areas like Nashik and Dindori, plights of onion farmers are going to play a key role, and for them it's the most important election issue. The traders in that area, onion traders, also were upset with the union government because of various restrictions on the export of onions and then a complete ban. But a couple of weeks ago that ban was lifted, so that is going to come as a relief for the NDA as far as onion traders are concerned. Talking about the key candidates, for BJP, it's Piyush Goyal from North Mumbai. Once again, for BJP, it's Advocate Ujjwal Nikam from Mumbai North Central, contesting against Congress's Varsha Gaikwad. Dr. Shrikant Shinde, son of CM Eknath Shinde, is also contesting from Kalyan, and he is fighting against Vaishali Darekar. For constituencies like South Bombay and Mumbai South Central, it's a Sena versus Sena fight. For South Bombay, it's Arvind Sawant of Uddhav Thackeray faction, and he's contesting against Yamini Jadhav, that is, who is from Shinde Sena. For Mumbai's South Central, Shinde Sena's Rahul Shewale is contesting against Uddhav Thackeray's close aide Anil Desai. So these are the key seats. Talking about the voter turnout, that remains to be a concern for, especially for Mumbai. Talking about South Central specifically, at present we are in Prabha Devi, and for this particular constituency in 2019, the voter turnout was hardly little above 55%. So this time the whole focus of the election machinery and also of party cadre, of every party, is to ensure that more and more people step out and cast their vote. In South Central, it's a Sena versus Sena fight. Sitting MP Rahul Shewale, who went with Eknath Shinde when he rebelled against Uddhav Thackeray, is contested against the close aide, one of the close aides of Uddhav Thackeray, that is Anil Desai.
Right, thank you, Sandhya, for that update. Moving on, Atul Suri of Marathon Trend PMS says consolidation in the Indian market is not so bad. Speaking to Nigel after casting his vote, he adds inflation is a risk for the market and Fed action is crucial to watch.
Thanks a lot, Atul, for speaking to us here on CNBC TV 18. Well, you've gone ahead, you've done your duty. So that's out of the way. But let's talk about the index itself. You know, last few months, you've seen a bit of a time-wise correction on the markets, which may not be such a bad thing. And if you get a favorable result, then maybe the Indian markets play catch-up on the upside. Your take?
See,
everyone feels we're in a bull market. But if you look at the index, it was at 22,000 plus in Jan, and it is so in May. And the thing is that we've had a 10-month up move before that. But the beauty is that we've had 4 months of time-wise correction. Corrections can be of two times. One is price-wise, which is always painful. We could have given away 20-30% of the up move, which would cause a lot of pain, especially in the mid-caps. Right. But the thing is that we are almost at the same index level. One good day, one bad day, one good week, one bad week. And really there is no major damage to portfolios. In that there is rotation. So a time-wise correction I think is the best alternative. I think once the event is out, the good part is that we are not going into the event with big euphoria. You know, if the Nifty was at 25,000 in anticipation of some outcomes, then there would be a case for serious disappointment. Yes. It's not. It's kind of mixed. It's kind of, you know, confusing. It's light in that sense. So I think that is very, very positive. And post the event is out, of course, the event outcome will matter in the short term. But I think beyond that, the big story I feel that is happening is the global equity bull market. The number of global markets making lifetime highs. With that as a background, I don't think India will, you know, tank, collapse or underperform for a long period of time. And one must remember that in this bull market, I still hold the larger bull market, India has leadership qualities. So I think if the outcome is good, there is a big chance for a large catch-up.
Okay, you know, besides the equity markets, let's talk about a couple of other asset classes. You know, if you look at the commodity space, that's been on fire. China is coming back to life, and that's what's, you know, spurred, you know, set a big rally among all these base metals, ferrous, non-ferrous. But the good news is crude is still well behaved. Right. How do you see things pan out on that front? And even the dollar index, it appears in the near term, it's making a bit of a peak at around the 104.5, 105 odd level and then cooling off.
So I think that all commodities going up may not be so bad. The important thing for India is what is the energy basket. Yes. What is India's energy basket? And you will find that from Brent or WTI or whatever Indian basket is, it's pretty range bound. Yes. There has been no flurry out there. This is in spite of geopolitical issues in the Middle East, the Israel war continues, Yemen, etc. It all continues. Yeah. In spite of that, the good behavior of crude I think is positive for India. A lot of metals are going up, and I find that very often metals going up is a significance of the optimism that one has for global economies. So I'm not so bothered about them. In fact, I view them as optimism. My problem would happen is if Brent, crude or energy goes up.
All right, it appears that we are part of this big Indian bull market party. What is the couple of risks that you see? Politics aside, what else?
Politics obviously is a short-term risk, but I think the biggest risk for global markets per se, which is really what gives me optimism, is the bond yields. If inflation does not cool off, in fact, due to some reasons, and there are multiple factors, inflation actually starts spiking, and the Fed, which people were expecting 4 rate cuts this year, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. And if at any point in time, you know, there's a fear that the Fed may have to hike, I think that could be a very big dampener. So the thing that I would look as the big red signal will be increased inflation. The narrative is, yes, inflation is coming off, but really the numbers that come out do not really impress. So fingers crossed on that one. I think that is something that could be the Achilles heel for this bull market.
All right, it's been a bit of, we have a little bit fed up of Fed. So hopefully, you know, we get cooling off of inflation and they could go ahead and pull off those rate cuts. Thanks a lot, Atul, for speaking to us here on CNBC TV 18. Back to you guys.
All right, on that note, it's time for a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back as we continue to cover Phase 5 elections. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back to CNBC TV 18's coverage of Phase 5 polling. The fifth phase will also see key candidates such as Rahul Gandhi, Smriti Irani, Rajnath Singh and Omar Abdullah in the fray. Rahul Gandhi is in contention from the Congress bastion of Raebareli, where he's taking over from his mother Sonia Gandhi, who's represented the constituency 4 times. Smriti Irani will be defending the seat of Amethi, where she defeated Congress's Rahul Gandhi in the 2019 elections. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is eyeing a 4th term from Lucknow, while National Conference leader Omar Abdullah is fighting from the Baramulla constituency in Jammu and Kashmir. Another interesting aspect in these elections is the crucial seat of Saran that is also going to polls in Bihar. Bihar is also witnessing elections today. It recorded 8.86% voter turnout in the first 2 hours of voting. Polling is underway in key seats of Muzaffarpur, Madhubani, Sitamarhi, Saran and reserved constituency of Hajipur. The primary contest in Hajipur is between NDA partner Chirag Paswan, whose late father Ramvilas Paswan had won the seat 8 times, and RJD's Shiv Chandra Ram, a former MLA and ex-minister in the state. Meanwhile, the adjoining seat of Saran is witnessing a high-profile fight between RJD debutant Rohini Acharya, who's the daughter of party president Lalu Prasad, and former Union Minister Rajiv Pratap Rudy. Let's go across to CNN News 18's Saurabh Singh Rathore for more on this. Saurabh, all eyes are on this high-stakes battle between Rajiv Pratap Rudy and Rohini Acharya. And of course, Chirag Paswan, who's an MP from Jammu, has decided to take the plunge in Hajipur. What is the latest on ground?
See, Archana, more than 95 lakh voters are going to cast their votes today, and in fact the rain gods are in favor of the politicians, because just the drizzling has started and we are expecting that the voting percentage will go high. In fact, we are currently at Saran constituency, and here the voting percentage till 9 o'clock was the highest in all the 5 constituency. As you mentioned, of all the 5 constituencies, the voting percentage was 9% till 9 o'clock. So we are expecting, because the voters are turning out here in good numbers, equal numbers of voters, both from women and men. They are participating in this voting, the biggest festival of the democracy. And here the voters have one thing clear in their mind, that their agenda is nothing but development. So whoever has promised development, whoever can do the development, will get their vote, is the main agenda of the voters. Now, if we talk about the candidates particularly, it's an interesting contest because of the candidates. The Rajiv Pratap Rudy has been 4 times MP from this constituency. He has defeated Rabri Devi, the wife of Lalu Prasad, and she was the deputy chief minister of Bihar. Rudy has in fact defeated the in-laws of Tej Pratap Yadav, father Chandrika Rai, and also other 2 times he has defeated the candidates that were given by Lalu Prasad. So in a way, his contest is against Lalu Prasad, who has made her daughter, for the first time she is contesting from this seat. And it was a controversial, particularly because he had alleged that she is not a citizen of India, she is an NRI, and the documents that was submitted was not correct. So this was the allegation, although the Election Commission has allowed her to contest the election. But it's a very interesting seat because of the caste combination over here. And in fact, there was a matter of anti-incumbency against Rajiv Pratap Rudy, but that factor is not working right now, because Prime Minister Modi has already campaigned in his rallies, and in fact he's coming to Bihar in all the phases. In the last 4 phases he has been here. Today also he's coming to Bihar. So Modi factor is a big factor here, and in fact the allegation of Parivarvad, nepotism is being alleged on the family of Lalu Prasad, whose daughter is contesting, although Lalu Prasad has been saying that she had given her the kidney, so he's asking for the sympathy votes. So these are the factors which is in the mind of the people of here voting. As far as Hajipur constituency is based, almost 18-19 lakh voters are voting in that constituency, and it's an interesting seat too, because Chirag Paswan had to battle a lot against his own uncle Pashupati Paras to get that particular seat, and now he is contesting against Shiv Chandra Ram, who is a RJD candidate. So these 2 constituencies are the hot seats in the state of Bihar.
All right, thank you so much, Saurabh, for that comprehensive update from the state of Bihar. Let's now focus on the big international headline that we are tracking. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian have been declared dead following a helicopter crash on Sunday. Search teams found the wreckage in East Azerbaijan province. Vice President Mansouri confirmed the news on his social media platform X. CNBC's Dan Murphy has the latest.
Iranian state media say no survivors have been found after rescuers located the crash site of the helicopter that was carrying the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, his foreign minister, and their entourage. Details are still coming to light, but we understand a total of 9 people were on board the helicopter when it crashed, including senior members of the president's security detail. The president had been near the Azerbaijan border in the northwest of Iran, about 600 kilometers from the capital, Tehran, to open a new joint dam project. The cause of the crash is still unclear, but U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that U.S. officials informed him there was no evidence of foul play. Iranian officials also said fog, bad weather, and the terrain had a major impact on their ability to reach the crash site and search for survivors. The obvious question now is what happens next? Raisi was elected president of Iran and is the leader of the government, so his death will have a significant impact on domestic politics. However, Raisi, of course, answers to Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the country's head of state and supreme leader. That means his death is unlikely to have a major near-term impact on core domestic issues like Iran's nuclear program or its relationship with the West. A bigger unknown, though, is how the Iranian proxies, including Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, might react or respond. Of course, the crash also comes at a very difficult moment in the Middle East, with war raging in Gaza, and also just weeks after we saw Iran launching an attack on Israel after Israel struck Iran's diplomatic compound in Damascus. It also comes as Iran faces growing protests against its religious clerical rule and a backlash against an economy where US-led sanctions have hit hard. So the domestic political situation is still very volatile at this point. A lot of question marks over exactly what could happen next. As for next steps, though, Iranian law says Raisi's power is going to be transferred temporarily to the vice president before an election is called in the next 50 days.
Reacting to the news of the death of the Iranian President, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar condoled the deaths of Mr. Raisi and the Foreign Minister. And thank you for watching this special broadcast. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.